dude, don't you think you've had enough? Hey, you look familiar. Don't I know you from somewhere? Ever been to Australia? No? Me neither. Could have sworn I've seen you someplace before. Hey, I know. Maybe I'm someone famous. You know, like a baseball player or a pretty nurse. Huh? What? Man, what in the world are you talking about? Okay, I give up. Who am I? I don't know who you are, or where I know you from, or why you think you're an attractive nurse. I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Adam.
And I am Aaron. And this week we are not reviewing Kenan and Kel. We're reviewing something, some would say, much gooder.
Yes, Good Burger. We're leaving the 1996 Nickelodeon sitcom, and we're entering into the 1997 Nickelodeon movie.
The Nickelodeon movie that, Adam, I would say changed everything.
Oh, it was a big drop in the pool. Made big waves. Many waves were made by this film.
It was a big drop in the pool. Massive chunks of meat thrown into oblivion.
Good chunks everywhere.
Yes.
That's something that I noticed from like the menu of Good Burger. We should get into this first. Okay. Good Burger was a sketch on All That. The original, like, Golden Age All That had a sketch starring Kel Mitchell as Ed, kind of dumb and funny fast food employee. And in the style of the SNL films of this era, kind of like the Coneheads and MacGruber, they said, hey, this sketch is so good, let's make a full movie out of it.
And Adam, I'm glad they did, because
me too.
Watching it again after so many years, I'm sorry, but it stands the test of time. It really does. In my humble opinion, this movie is the best 5.7 on IMDb that has ever graced the earth.
Yeah, I love this film too, and it has a following. Like, it's on number 2 on Netflix right now.
Right now, on as we record this, January 14th, it is the number 2 movie on Netflix in the world.
Yeah. In the year of our Lord, 2021.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, just it could. 24 years later, it's still going strong. So, people like it.
Well, we hope you're here because you love the movie, and we're ready to break it down and talk about it.
Yeah, we want to branch out in our Kenan and Kel from our TV-ness to the filmography.
Adam, I knew that I was going to watch Good Burger and review it today, so I actually wore my white and light blue striped button-down shirt to work in celebration.
Wow, just matching the attire.
And one of my coworkers was wearing the same shirt. So, it is the season for Good Burger paraphernalia.
Yeah, I guess so. It's... I've had watches of this movie before where I when I used to live next to the Five Guys, I would all right, Five Guys here, Good Burger on screen, and just make it happen. I don't know about if you know about this, but it was a long period of time where I didn't even know this movie existed.
Oh, really?
Like that high school era of me, reignited my love for Kenan and Kel. Like, I learned that I'm like, oh wait, there was a Kenan and Kel movie?
Yeah. Like, it
was just a huge blind spot.
And honestly, a well-produced movie. I mean, there's a lot of scenes that we will talk about, but they look like they're from a movie in this time period. Maybe the tech is like a little bit, behind, and maybe the effects are a little bit behind, but it's like a 90s movie.
Yeah. There's an article by Complex.com a couple of years ago now, 3-4 years. It was called the Complete Oral History of Good Burger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've read through it several times. The crazy thing about it is that they pitched this movie to the production company. They were like, hey, All That is awesome. Kenan and Kel are awesome. They had just finished their first season of Kenan and Kel. And they're like, hey, we want to make a full movie of this. They did a great table read. And the executive basically said, good news and bad news. Good news, I want to make this movie. Bad news, I went this summer, and that was like in January.
Oh.
So they turned around this movie in 6 months.
Wow. From casting to filming to editing. Wow.
Yeah. They had the full script going in. They had Kenan and Kel, but that was it. So
And Dan Schneider.
Yeah, Dan Schneider, Heath Seaford, and Kevin Coppolo were kind of the dream team writing this. And they basically had 4 weeks. They filmed from like March to April of that year and came out on July 25th.
Amazing.
So absolutely insane. And let's not waste any more time. And we're not joining Cooley on the big orange couch. We're going to join Kel in his dreams. I'm sorry, Ed in his dreams.
Another dream sequence in the Kenan and Kel universe. Let's just get that off the bat, right? We start with dancing hamburgers flying around the screen, and then Ed, of course, played by our favorite friend Kel Mitchell, is falling through a well and hits the bottom and wakes up, and that's how the movie begins.
Yes, I gotta say that this, all right, I don't want to start with a negative, but I love showing this movie to people, and I always have to like preface this first scene. I'm like, all right, the whole movie's not like this.
Yeah, it's the worst hook.
It's really bad.
It's
a bad pitch. They should really start with like it acts like it's gonna be an Ed like intro, like it's basically a sketch, right? You want to show like a quick 3-minute sketch, like what's on all that. But no, it's this crazy dream sequence with burger puppets.
Yep.
And like weird effects of him flying around and falling, and yeah. I also this is the first time you get a good image of it, and it's consistent throughout the movie. You see the menu of Good Burger. Good Burger's a fast food place, and they sell all kinds of food.
Like what, Adam?
So you've got your Good Burger. So there's a couple meals and stuff like that on the side, but your Good Burger, $1.49.
Oh, those were the days. Could
Yeah,
you
right?
imagine? You walk in with a $20 bill, you get,
And you just get some fat stacks of burgers. Yeah. Well, you can also spread the love and get a double burger, triple burger. Then there's Good Chunks, which I have no idea what that is.
maybe like a beef nuggets.
Beef nuggets, I guess.
Or chicken nuggets. Maybe they're not beef. Chicken nuggets, probably.
Yeah. The Chick Witch.
Oh, then they're definitely chicken nuggets. Yeah, I didn't even know they had chicken.
Yeah. Good Weenie.
Okay.
Also, Good Tacos, which is.
Oh wow.
It seems very out of left field.
Wow, that's the second taco reference in this movie.
Yeah, they also have chilies, fries, beverages, shakes, pies, cookies, coffee, and a good pickle.
Yeah,
So-
I'm thank you for pointing all that out and for really highlighting the wonders of the Good Burger menu, which I didn't even think about. That's why you're here, Adam. You're here to catch all those little details. I'm here for the big picture stuff.
Yeah, so let's get to Ed's bedroom.
So Ed wakes up in his uniform. That's I mean the at least the for what do they call that costume? Like whatever the people making the costumes. Wardrobe. Yeah, they had an easy job. Right, that's one less thing to take care of. Ed wore the same thing the whole show, and he begins by waking up in his uniform, then he showers in his uniform, and as he's showering, he's singing the famous I'm a Dude jingle.
Do you want to deliver it real quick here?
I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, 'cause we're all dudes, yeah, I'm a dude, he's a...
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Later in the movie, we'll see the actual, like, the ska tune of it. It's a band with like literally Kel like singing the lyrics.
Yeah, the music in this movie is fitting and well done.
The score is something I've never heard anything like it before. It's kind of like you hear a lot of samey music nowadays, and like I guess the 2010s era of films. The scores usually sound like Inception or like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Right there. But no, it's this really like. There's all those, like, the little dinglings in the tunes. And the,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
There's a lot of harmonics. Yeah, and a lot of, like, chimes and happy kind of upbeat sounds. like the higher notes and yeah.
And we only see it for just a quick like couple seconds here, but I love the random stuff they just throw into Ed's room.
Yep, they got lights with like glow sticks around them, and
he's got a banana lamp. He's got a radio that's literally the word radio.
so he's got goggles in his shower, and rubber duckies like glued to the wall.
Like 8 rubber duckies.
Yes. Let's define Ed as a very literal character, right? Would you say everything he does is literal?
Yes, he's very literal, but he's also got that kind of random, all that energy to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not be surprised if there was a giant ear of corn in his bedroom, too.
Yep.
Next to the chili bean towel, the dog statue, the giant shoes, and the giant tennis ball.
Or the basketball hoop in his shower, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
Like to put your loofah in or something.
I find that... My showers nowadays are just so, like, down to business. I forgot there was an era of time when you were, like, you go into the shower and you have fun.
You had stuff in there.
Yeah.
You had toys. We cut over to Good Burger, the building, which I can't really describe it. The roof is almost like a zigzag, right?
It's kind of like it's very a cartoony Burger King.
It looks like a diner. Right, and it's got this really Good Burger sign, except everything in it is kind of old. It needs a paint job. But it's got like honestly, it has nice structure.
It captures the fast food joints of that era pretty well.
Oh yeah, and the diners. It kind of looks like a diner as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Adam, did you catch where this was set?
Yeah, I did actually. In fact, you mean like where it was filmed or where it was set in the
both
the show?
Both.
At the end of the film, the fire department has the word Briardale written on their trucks.
Right, that's the name of the high school too.
Yep. So Briardale is my guess.
Well, do you know where that would be?
Is it California?
I would imagine it's in Los Angeles. And the reason I say it's in Los Angeles is because of a cameo that appears later that I don't know if I want to spoil. Should I spoil it?
Yeah. No, we have to sit on that. But yes, that's a very good hint of where this is located.
Good. Okay, so Adam, I have a feeling this podcast is going to go much longer than we had anticipated, but let's just roll with it.
What are you talking about? It's only 15 minutes, and we're about 5 minutes. No, we're like 2 minutes in.
2 minutes in. All right, we're on Kenan and Kel pace, people. Hang with us.
Yeah.
So Ed is rollerblading to work, and he's getting in all kinds of trouble.
Do you want to list the trouble he gets into?
Yeah, so he, what's the first one? Oh, there's a girl jump roping, and he knocks over the girl with the jump rope, and then the rope, like, wraps around her either ankle or her neck, I can't really tell, and then it's dragging her as he's rollerblading. Then there's a mother walking across the street holding her baby. He calls the mother, for the mother to look out, and then he bumps into her, accidentally grabs the baby, keeps on roller skating, goes through a basketball court where there's a game happening, bumps into everybody. The baby switches with the basketball, and then the baby gets dunked by this guy.
Which are increasingly insane events. I don't know how he could have thought that was a basketball at any point.
I don't. This movie is off to a bad start. They try to do too much.
It is established in the kind of cartoony vibe of this world.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, so that's fair. But yeah, it is it's off the ropes already. Meanwhile, at Good Burger, there's an irate construction worker. Now, this was a thing that was always in the Good Burger All That skit. This guy was usually played by Kenan. He was a character called Lester Oaks Construction Worker.
Of course. We know and love Lester Oaks.
In the movie, he's a full-grown man, and he really wants someone to take his order. But everyone has their job at Good Burger, and Ed is working the register, so he's the only one that can take the order.
That's right. So he, it's a montage scene of this guy, like, yelling at Monique, who we are introduced to in a couple minutes. And Monique is, like, about to help him, and then she's just like, I'm not going to help you because I need to wait for Ed, is what her actions say, not her words. And then there's this cut with Ed, like, crashing through residential Los Angeles on his way to work. Eventually, Ed arrives. He plows through the front doors, flips over the counter, and instantly greets the construction worker with,
"Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?"
The catchphrase that young people still repeat.
A fun moment I want to drop here is Lester Oaks is like giving them to count of 5, and when he says 3, he's holding up 2 fingers.
Yes, that is true. Ed rolls in right when he's about to say 1, and tries to take his order at least. Doesn't really, but tries.
Yeah, and right here is the crux of the whole Good Burger concept, is of Ed doing a bad job as a cashier. So yeah, he's like asking, like, give me 2 Good Burgers. He's like, I can't just give them to you. You gotta pay for them. They have that crazy back and forth.
And so on. It kind of goes on like that, and the construction worker eventually leaves because he's very upset. And he says something along the lines of, I can't wait until Mondo Burger opens up.
And you see the conflict of the film right there on the horizon. And that Monique points out to Ed, who's like, what's Mondo Burger? He's like, well, you see that place that they've been building for 10 months? And how would you describe the Mondo Burger aesthetic?
A burger palace.
Palace is the right word.
It's a massive building. It is pretty much the size of, like, what do you say? It's, I don't know, like a high school. It's like really big.
Yeah, it's like if you folded a high school on top of itself.
Yeah, it's tall. It's like 4 stories, 5 stories, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like a stadium. Everyone in Good Burger, we'll go through the ranks later, is kind of nervous about this, but Mr. Bailey has faith in them. Who's Mr. Bailey? Mr.
Bailey is, of course, the manager of the fine Good Burger, and he is played by none other than Dan Schneider.
Yes. He's kind of Dan Schneider filling a very Chris role. He's got a lot of...
I could not have said it better myself.
He's got a lot of Chris lines. He also... I love his outfit, because it's a blue shirt, but his tie is the same pattern as everyone's uniform.
Yeah. It's good, and it's always he always looks a little disheveled.
I also like everyone's little name tags, because they don't just say their name. They say, I'm, then the name. Yeah. So it's a neat little touch.
Well, we find out that Good Burger's been open for 40 years, and Mondo Burger opening across the street is a pretty big problem, because they might lose a lot of their business.
Yeah, this reminded me a lot of the Wawa struggle from back home. You remember that?
Yeah, the little tiny groceries and Valero, which used to be, then turned Exxon. Yeah. Never quite made it.
Wawa opened up across the street, and they had a crazy, like, back and forth battle of, like, gas prices at one point, if you remember.
Good old-fashioned free market. Yeah.
Let's go to Briardale High School to meet our other main character.
Yeah, so the teacher is this jazzy guy who's still in the disco age. He's got a little mini afro. And Kenan is sleeping in class. The bell rings. Kenan wakes up. He's not Kenan. I'm sorry. His character's name is Dexter Reed, and he's basically just like, peace out. It's summer vacation. I will never have to be in high school until 3 months from now. Yeah,
he's very, very excited about summer break. And Mr. Wheat's name is his teacher, played by Sinbad. And, like, who was instantly dated as soon as this movie came out. 24 years has not been kind to Mr. Wheat.
Instantly dated.
Yes. He said something really weird to Dexter about teaching him about challenges, potentials, and using your mind, which is a nothing. I wrote that down because I'm like, does this apply in the rest of this movie? I don't think it does.
Nope.
Not even a little bit. There's a lot of kind of drop threads throughout the film.
Adam, I think you're totally wrong. I think that does apply to this movie.
Challenges, potential, and using your mind? Oh, you know what? Maybe yeah, hang on. Okay.
We'll get there. That's the whole point. That's like the whole thing.
I take that back. You're right. It does. All right, that is a good Easter egg. Not bad.
All right. We gotta move along here. So there's this clear tension between Dexter and Mr. Wheat, which is a weird name. But yeah, anyways, like, he's just like, see ya, I don't need you. And he calls him what sounds like child. He's like, see ya, child, but it doesn't, I don't know if that's what it is.
Dexter goes out to an awesome car, as it's called in the 90s, with his friend Jay. And and he's like, man, Jay's like, man, I can't believe your mom lets you drive this thing around. And he's all, she doesn't.
Yep. She's out of town. She's away for business. And so Dexter drops his sunglasses and peels out, drifting through the high school parking lot.
Well, if you notice, it's not a parking lot. He's just parked in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he parks in the middle of the street. Yep.
Which is pretty, yeah, so... meanwhile, back at Good Burger, Mr. Bailey asks Ed to make a delivery. Their delivery guy, who was named O'Malley, was fired because he showed up without his pants.
Yes, that's a very Dan Schneider line, and we're going to run with it. And Ed goes, "It shall be delivered."
It's one of his catchphrases. It shall be done.
Yeah.
He's racing on rollerblades with this delivery, and Dexter is in his car making plans, which involve waking up at noon, chilling by the pool, ordering Chinese food, and having some girls over every day of the summer.
Yep, and Jay's saying that he's going to get a summer job, and Kenan's like, "No, you got to explain something to parents." Like, he's like, "You can't get a summer job. It's called summer vacation, keyword vacation." And he's trying to explain to Jay why he shouldn't work, and you can kind of guess, it's clearly building up to this encounter between Ed and Dexter.
Ed... cuts off Dexter's car in the middle of an intersection, and he does donuts with a little, slap fight bit in the middle. But it ends with them crashing into another car that is owned by Mr. Wheat, who the airbag deploys, and he's all, he's damaged his afro.
So there's this really good scene, or this really good moment where Kenan looks over and he just yells, "Why?" Which is the first of many kind of Kenan and Kel dynamic things in here. Yeah.
Yeah, Kenan and Kel-isms.
This is a pretty good scene, but it basically ends with Mr. Wheat being like, "This car cost me $22,000.
I waited 4 weeks for that chrome."
Yeah, 4 weeks for that chrome.
See that? That's Detroit leather.
He's talking about. Dexter goes, "Well, they always do get you with the extras." Mr. Wheat asks for his driver's license and his insurance, which he, of course, has none. And Mr. Wheat says a great line. He says, I hate to put a black man in jail, but I'm calling the cops." And it's like, oh, it's getting real.
Yeah, it is getting real. And that, this is I said one of the moments of true tension in the film.
Yeah.
Because Dexter's he's trying to push him away, and he's standing on his car to get taller than him, and he's like, no, I can fix this. And he agrees that I'll pay off the damage to the car, I'll get a summer job.
Right, and they got an estimate for how much it would cost, and it was $1,900. Which, how much is that in today's currency, Adam?
I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, you didn't do it yet.
Yeah, I didn't. But the one thing I wanted to point out in this scene is that it's a blink and you miss it thing, but did you see what the mechanic looked like? Oh my god. Mechanic looks incredible. It's the first time I've probably seen this this movie 12 times in my life, and he looks absolutely insane. He's got this giant mustache, and he's like this old guy with these big glasses, and on every one of his fingers is a ring.
Oh man!
And he's the best extra ever.
Oh, nice.
In 1997, $1,900 would be about $3,000 today,
which is a lot for
to
get done on a crappy 1997 car. Anyways, it's clear that Dexter needs a summer job. The next scene is inside of Mondo Burger, which really looks like it's from Star Trek. Looks like a spaceship.
Yeah, everyone's wearing these crazy leather jumpsuits.
They must have been so uncomfortable to film in.
It looked like the worst. It just chafes like crazy.
Yeah, the most uncomfortable thing you could wear. A rubber uniform. And they're treating burger making like they're training their employees because it's about to open, so they're training their employees how to make burgers, and it's very drill sergeant-esque. He's just
good way to put it.
Lettuce, tomato, cheese. And watching Dexter.
It pans over across good employees. Then you see Dexter, who is making a big mess.
he's like, oh, I'll just take these and throw some of these, and oh, that's okay. You know, I don't know how that happened. And
yeah, he's got like 20 pieces of cheese on top of the one burger, and just
like six pickles. Yeah.
And we see for the first time Kurt, the manager of Mondo Burger.
Kurt is the worst character in any movie I've ever watched. He has no motive.
No, I don't know his story either, because what he's clearly like I want to say like 18 or like
maybe he's like
at least
early 20s,
low 20s, but
he has no character development, no incentive. Yeah,
his one motive is to crush Good Burger.
Again, very cartoony.
It's got some real SpongeBob, like Krusty Krab versus Chum Bucket vibes.
Oh, I got lots of SpongeBob vibes from this. Which came first?
Oh, this came first by like 2 years.
No, SpongeBob was 97.
SpongeBob was 99.
Oh,
okay,
you're right. It might have been. No, it was 99. I'm sorry. I'm really dating.
No problem.
I'm really dating myself.
Hey, that's fine. It's the last 90s cartoon. That's how I know it. And it's just like on the tail end.
This movie is 2 months older than me. So as this movie was developing, as was I in my mother's womb.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like 4, so it was a total blind spot for me, like I said. So a good bit here is that Kurt's like really upset with Dexter. He's like, nothing's worse than a sloppy, messy fast food employee. And then we smash cut to Ed inside the Good Shake machine.
There is strawberry Good Shake all over there. And Mr. Bailey, of course, played by Dan Schneider, is like, Ed, what are you doing?
Fixing the Good Shake machine.
And the classic Dan Schneider tone. Did you turn on the switch?
And then he does, and it works. So.
Woo! It starts jiggling. Strawberry jacuzzi. Classic line. Yeah. Classic moment.
I think it's an overlooked joke of that. Ed, he went to use the machine, and it was turned off. And he thought it was broken, so he climbed inside of it to repair it. He's got like a wrench. Like, what is he doing in there?
I mean, he clearly likes swimming. He has goggles in the shower.
Another bit between Dexter and Kurt is that like he calls the employees like, you pestiferous little maggot, and Kenan says, I know what a maggot is, but
pestiferous.
The Kenan Kellism, which is great. Kurt's giving a speech.
He's giving a pep talk to his newly employed Mondo Burger employees, and he's basically saying that in 2 years, Mondo Burger will be the biggest burger chain on the planet. Which I have come across a few young entrepreneurs who are very driven and motivated, and that is one of those like, yeah, man, all you gotta do is just envision it. Envision all the money you want, and then you're gonna get it. I can see that.
Kurt does have that vibe, yeah.
He's got like...
He kind of feels like he came from money. Like he's got some really rich like parents that he's really...
If Kurt was around today, he would be an Instagram influencer who rents a private jet and takes pictures outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
With hashtag growth mindset.
Yeah. But speaking of parents, yeah, he tells them that he's like, but he's like, you're gonna eat Mondo Burger, you're gonna breathe Mondo Burger, because Kurt is now both your father and your mother.
Dexter looks over and he says, Kurt must look very strange naked.
Who uttered something? It was him, sir. He made the utterance.
And it's at this moment that Kurt says there are no comedians in Mondo Burger. You mess with Kurt, you're gonna go in the grinder.
Grinder. Yeah. His catchphrase that doesn't mean much.
It is baseless.
But yeah, no, that's his 90s way of saying you're trash, you're garbage, get out of here.
It's his 90s ways of saying you're toast.
Yeah, right. The other 90s phrase. So we go to Good Burger, and this might be my favorite like Ed interaction scene. It's him and this another irate customer who's complaining because his Why is he upset?
Well, he asked for a good burger with nothing on it, and so Ed gave him a bun because a burger is something. A beef patty is something.
Yeah, he gets someone's support. Is a beef patty something or nothing? Something? I win. But so yeah, the guy's all like, I'm reporting your name to the manager.
Yeah, the manager. I mean, we talked about in our past episodes of season 2, we talked about the power dynamics of the counter and in front of the counter, and the manager role in this show. Maybe it's because it was written by Dan Schneider, but like the manager holds like the utmost authority. It's almost like Monarch of Good Burger. Calling the manager is super serious. Today, it's like people call the manager if they just, I don't know, need some extra juice.
It's a pre-Karen era.
Yes.
Of like the cashier has all the power in the world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they actually had to do things instead of like accept money and give you the right amount of change. And now cashiers just like press buttons and yeah.
The power stops there.
That's right.
Ed can keep Mr. Bailey out of this.
Right. Well, the power's in this little plastic card instead of the cash that's actually exchanged.
Yeah. But so I guess that does affect things, doesn't it?
It does.
but yeah, Ed replies, "The manager already knows my name."
And then the guy throws the patty down, the burger or the bun down, and says, "I'll see you in hell."
And Ed replies, "Okay, see you there."
It's like what? It's so extreme, so extreme, so good. Great moment. You're right. It's one of the best Ed interactions. Ed leaves his post to deliver a milkshake to a very disgruntled Dexter.
Not his first milkshake. This is his 9th good shake.
I do not want to imagine the calorie count on those.
Oh, I'm sure it's very bad for you.
That's not good.
It's also like he just lost his job. What's he doing buying 9 good shakes?
I mean, his mom did have a nice car, so then maybe they have a little bit of money.
Yeah, maybe he's got some like food budget. Like that's not all on him.
Right.
They do like it's kind of like a bar bits, right? He delivers it and he's like, don't you think you've had enough? This is my favorite parts of the movie is this kind of talking part in the middle.
Right, like in between actions.
Yeah, it's a lot of wordplay and, like just spoken bits. He's like, because Dexter's looking at him, he's like, have I seen you before? And he's like, ever been to Australia? No? Me neither.
Yeah,
So
he's like, oh, maybe I'm someone famous. like a baseball player or a pretty nurse.
They have a lot of stuff like that, and Dexter's upset, and Ed's trying to guess why he's upset. And he's like, "Were you bitten by a sheep? Did you lose your trousers?"
And Dexter's like, "I'll just tell you because you're a very bad guesser, or an unusually bad guesser."
Yeah,
it's like it perfectly described Ed in this situation. And Dexter explains what happens. He got fired after like working there for like 2 days, and Ed goes, "Boy, you must really suck."
Yeah, you see, I'd slap you now, but I don't think your brain is large enough to comprehend pain.
And Ed just, my favorite part about Ed as a character is he just shakes everything off. Like nothing is personal. And he doesn't even, maybe because he doesn't hear it, or maybe he hears it and understands it and just knows that they didn't actually mean that.
He always thinks the best of other people.
Oh, benefit of the doubt is his motto.
Yeah, so it's like part that, but it's also part, like, he's not very bright. Like, we learn later that he secretly has, like, kind of, I call book smarts, but he's a very interesting character in that sense, you know?
Oh, he is the most interesting character, and might I say that this is, like, the perfect Kel Mitchell role, because the acting isn't like, you know, I mean, you don't need to be an amazing actor to be Ed, because he's so cartoony, but at the same time, like, he holds his character incredibly well.
Yeah. I think it's the benefit of being a sketch before this. Like, the character's been developed so strongly. That's a really good nucleus that he just kind of surrounds with, you can send that character to do anything, and it'd be funny.
Right. Yes. Cal carries that the ambiance of funny. Well, he's like Ed's like, wait a second, you can work here, and basically he grabs Kenan. He asks Mr. Bailey if Kenan can work or Dexter can work there, and he's like, no.
And they have a back and forth, and it's a lot of really the interview that he has with Dexter is pretty funny. Because he's all like, how long have you ever worked in fast food for? Nearly 2 days. And Mr. Bailey's impressed. He also asks him, do you know how to drive a car? And he says, yes.
It's good. He does like a little lip quiver in there. It's like the best. He's like, yes. Do you have a driver's license? Yes.
He actually doesn't ask the driver's license, so he doesn't lie.
Oh, okay.
But he does ask have you ever been in an accident? To which Dexter replies, not to your knowledge.
I suppose he doesn't lie here.
Which like that should be a red flag to a good manager, but no, it's a comedy bit.
Anyways, he basically tells Dexter that sure he can be the new delivery guy since O'Malley got fired.
And all of a sudden, he's part of the team. Let's meet the rest of the Good Burger employees.
Oh, this is just amazing. Well, first off, there's Otis who does fries. And Otis looks like he's on his deathbed. He has oxygen. He's attached to
He's got an oxygen tank. He's 77. And his catchphrase is like, I should have died years ago. Worth mentioning, he's played by Abe Vigoda, who's actually got like a really great like pedigree. He was in The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Like he's probably got the best. He's probably the most acclaimed actor of the bunch.
I can't imagine he's still with us, but if he is, he'd be 100
he's
years
no
old.
Longer.
Okay. Rest in peace, Otis. Or what's his name?
Abe Vigoda.
Rest in peace, Abe. Thank you for your service. You are my favorite character in this movie.
I want to say that Abe Vigoda sounds like it might also be a character name.
It might not be his real name, but
yeah.
But maybe he was an Abraham.
He died in 2016, which is very impressive. Lived to 94.
Oh, 94 is good.
Yeah, good run.
Maybe it was all the good burgers he ate.
Yeah, no, it kept him alive. All that good sauce.
Okay, and next we meet Fizz, who does the drive-thru.
Fizz is actually played by another All That cast member, Josh Server. Yeah, he was a regular in the Golden Age, but like right next to Kenan and Cal. He kind of had like a very Jim Carrey vibe, or like he was really trying to emulate Jim Carrey. So he's got a very minor role in this movie. Did you get the Fizz Dexter joke? Because there's a long period of my life where I didn't understand it.
No.
Dexter calls him Fi, right?
Right.
And I was always scratching my head. What the exchange is, he's like, this is Dexter. And he's like, nice to meet you, Dex. He's like, nice to meet you, Fi.
Oh, yeah, I thought I got that. Yeah.
He returns half his name. I didn't know that for like 10 years.
Oh. Oh, no, I got that.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I just forgot it, like, when you asked. Yeah. But yeah. And next is Dee Dee, who is a veterinarian, or actually vegetarian, as Ed is corrected.
She doesn't wear fur. She doesn't eat meat.
That's right. And I
don't know how she can survive in this environment.
I don't ask questions about vegetarians. Especially whatever. People need jobs. Next up is Spatch,
who's a walking cartoon.
He is a bulbous man who has a large spatula, and his name is Spatch.
Yeah, he kind of grunts. He feels like if they found someone that worked at Good Burger, it was Spatch.
He's definitely nonverbal. There's a fly flying around, and he smacks it against his forehead and kills it and then eats it.
And finally, the normal member of the Good Burger is a girl named Monique. Dexter is immediately infatuated by her.
So Dexter comes over, tries to make a move, and Monique basically, he says that her shirt looks good with her eyes or something along those lines, and Monique says, yeah, I was pretty embarrassed when I came to work to see everybody else wearing the same thing.
And just really shoots him down.
Shoots him
coldly.
down. Yeah. It was cold, but there was clearly some tension there.
He goes over to Ed and says, "She is all that."
Just great.
Yeah.
Excellent job, everybody. Well done. We should just end it now.
Yeah, we can go home now.
She is
did it.
all that. All what?
Dexter wants to know. It's a really good paced movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because
Unlike this podcast.
Yeah, this is like a 10-minute scene that it began with, remember, Ed with the customer.
Right.
Then it went to Ed and Dexter,
Yeah.
Dexter and Mr. Bailey. And
You know what, Adam? Well, what I noticed from like when they were in the high school is there is it looks like a movie, right? And the reason it looks like a movie compared to Kenan and Kel is it's not filmed on a stage. Well,
Yes.
it might be, but the cameras are right there, and
They're also filmed with film.
with film, right? And there's shadows and there's the scene, but it still has the pace of a Kenan and Kel scene, right? Like a long opening scene, like in this store with all these dynamics of employees and of like what's happening, and it's this long kind of this long setting and scene.
Yeah, no, you could like literally take this movie and crunch it into a Kenan and Kel episode if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could, and that's what they did. I mean, they followed the formula.
Yeah. So Dexter is introduced to the what he'll be driving to deliver things, the Burger Mobile.
And if you watch the SpongeBob movie, you will know where they got their inspiration, because it is a burger on wheels, and Dexter says, "What, Adam?"
I've never driven a sandwich before.
Which, yep. See, because I grew up with the SpongeBob movie. I didn't grow up with
Yeah. So you know the phrase. You don't need a license to drive a sandwich.
That's right.
It's the exact same line.
It is. Yep. So they hop in the car. Ed is driving, and he's swerving. He's very bad at driving, and the teacher, Mr. Wheat, is there by his mailbox fixing it up. And of course, you know what's going to happen to Mr. Wheat, who seems to be a magnet for disfortune.
Yes. They plow right over it.
I said disfortune. It's misfortune.
Yes, you did. Another line that Dexter says triggers one of Ed's catchphrases, which is that he's like, "That was a stop sign back there." To which Ed says, no." But yeah, no, destruction follows them along. Dexter works there now. A big thing happens right this evening. It is the debut of Mondo Burger, opening night.
That's right. The Mondo Burger has this big celebration. They have a band. They have Kurt on the microphone like an evil MC. He's like Ryan Seacrest on New Year's Eve. And
that is exactly his vibe.
evil. He's like plotting against humanity. No, I'm joking. Ryan Seacrest, if you're listening, we send you our best. Thank you for your service to America.
Before the ceremony, he swings by Good Burger to like kind of gloat in their faces and order what he calls the last Good Burger.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a very Gary Oak vibe to him too, in the kind of '90s villain category. But yeah, no,
Or Penguin.
he argues with tells Ed that he should. Well, Ed, you better watch your butt, which sends Ed like spiraling.
Yeah, he's like a dog chasing his tail, looking for it.
Meanwhile, Dex is realizing that working in fast food doesn't pay much. And he's like kind of stacking containers. Like he's like, all right, $5 an hour, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. And he realized that he's not going to be able to pay things back very fast.
Adam, did you do the math? How long would that have taken him?
I did. So $1,900 for the car, and $800 for his mom car, which he mentions in like a scene ago. So to get at that rate, it would take him 18 weeks to pay off both cars.
Which isn't that bad.
Yeah. It's something like
What, you said 18 weeks?
Just 18 weeks.
Yeah, that's longer than summer. So
right. Although that said, the $1,900 is right on the money for like 2.5 like 3 months. So yeah, like it's a good rate, but it's going to take a while. He's kind of close.
Right.
But yeah. The grand opening, as they turn on the giant neon signs and bring in the crowds, there's a power surge at Good Burger, and they are without electricity.
Yep, so they're sitting there in the dark. They have no customers, and they end early. They close early. And it's kind of sad. It's the sad, like, things are not going well for the good team at the Good Burger.
There's a montage set to the song Opposable Thumbs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, that's a real timepiece.
Yeah, that's like, I need to play this for my students. Like this scene specifically. Just to show them what culture is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I don't say this often, but I think I might be able to make that song.
Yeah, I've heard much better songs written by like young children.
I think the reason they have this song is because it ends with the beat like I got one opposable thumb, and the montage ends with Mr. Bailey coming into the Good Burger and he says, "I got one." Referring to a mondo burger. I think it was like written that way. Yeah. So he shows off the mondo burger that it looks like he pulls it like out of the ether. You don't see the bag that he pulls it in.
He's like hiding it. Yeah, he tucked it in his like cargo pants pocket, and he like pulls it out and lays it on the table. Everybody comes over, gathers around. Spatch pulls out his magic spatula and picks up the mondo burger, which bends his spatula. These burgers are enormous.
Yeah, which sends him into a fit of sounds
and grunts.
Yeah, Ed compares the two. And to his diagnosis, they sound similar. So they're really, they have no idea how they could be selling them for the same price as a Good Burger.
That's right, and the financials at the Good Burger are not looking good. They made $43.09 the day after Mondo Burger opened, or the day of.
Yeah, after the montage, to which Mr. Bailey says a very, 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 very Chris line.
Chris line, yes.
I suppose I could always feed my mother cat food.
Yep, he's just like, I wish they had Chris as
Mr.
What? Bailey.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
That would have been, I mean, I loved, like, Dan Schneider does a great job, don't get me wrong.
I think they did it for continuity, believe it or not, because in the Good Burger sketches, he was Mr. Bailey the boss.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
like he showed up like once or twice, and he came in wearing a tie, and like that was it. So, I respect the continuity, but yeah, they should have gotten
that would have been
Dan for that.
And oh, by the way, I meant to say this earlier. Mr. Wheat, total Roger vibes, especially Afro Roger. Right? It's like this like large man trying to find his like joy and peace and love and zest for life, and is just deeply angry at the world.
Yeah, I feel like they would, like, if they didn't like get the Sinbad star power, they would have gotten like Ken Foree for the job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Like, oh, what the like is something bad happening to him in the Kenan and Kel universe, and that's, yeah.
Ed is asking Dex if he wants to hang out later as he's rollerblading, getting ready to leave. And the rollerblading triggers a memory for Dex. He sees it and he immediately recalls him cutting him off, and he's like, I know where I know you from, as Ed crashes into Otis and knocks him on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And of course, he recognizes that Ed was the one who caused the accident. And so he scolds him. He says, you're the reason I have to work a summer job. You're the reason I owe $1,900. You cost me my future. You cost me my summer. You ruined my life.
Yeah, which really
hurts. It hurts me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In that line, he also drops that his mom found out that he was driving without a license. Another like kind of a little thread that's never picked up.
Right.
I feel like if they had like more scenes or time,
right,
they would we actually like seen that. But he escorts Otis requests to go to a hospital, and he escorts him out.
That's right.
He says, I think I broke my ass.
Yeah, really good line.
So that like things are really tense with the Good Burger family.
Yeah, between Ed and his buddy, who he thought was his buddy.
I think we should get to the good part before we run out of time in this first part.
Let's do it.
All right. So the next day, or shortly after, during Dexter's lunch break, Mr. Wheat rolls up, and he says that, hey, I got the final bill from the mechanic. My car is good as new. And unfortunately, $1,900 was just the estimate.
Yeah, it's actually $2,500.
Hang on. Sorry.
Probably $4,000.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about $4,000 exactly. So an extra $1,000.
Did I just do that
is what it...
mental math? Where are my geometry students when they?
They'd be impressed.
They would be. No, they don't like me. So next up, the Mr. Wheat's like, I'm gonna go get lunch at Mondo Burger, which is just a slap in the face. Like he clearly knows that his student who he's making pay his car payments like is working at this establishment, and then he doesn't work there.
Yeah, he's really just rubbing it in, not even giving him any money to support.
Yep.
Ed sits down and has lunch right next to Dexter. And Dexter is very clearly like, I don't want to, see you. I don't want to smell you. I want to use words with the letter U.
Yeah. He is he's like, I don't want to, like, this is not good. Like, you got me this job, but like you also ruined my life. And Ed is just sitting there. He's just like taking it. Doesn't really seem to mind it.
As he's like picking up a fry, Dexter says to him, hey, can you get that through your head? And he's like, I can try. And like all those comically missing the points bits that we love.
Comically, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Ed diffuses the situation by performing a character known as Grape Nose Boy.
Look, I'm Grape Nose Boy.
And really just plays a game of trying to get Kenan to laugh.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's really trying. It looks like he's just being himself, And
I think he does a good job of it, but it's not, like I said, I like the wordplay bits. I don't like this is for the littlest kids in the audience.
Hey, it was pretty funny.
But Dexter's ultimately like, all right, I give up. It's no use being mad at you because you can't comprehend it.
Yeah, you clearly don't get the anger or the hate. So then he eats the grapes, of course, and Ed eats the grapes. And then he pulls out what becomes a very crucial part of this entire movie, his homemade sauce.
To which Dex says, you make your own sauce? Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, no, actually, believe it or not everybody. Most people don't.
Yeah, but he kind of like taps his little jar of it, and it gets everywhere. And Dex is upset, but then he tastes it, and he's like, wow, this is actually really good. And he's like, no one knows about this. Ed confirms no one knows, and he kind of shifts his eyes back and forth. You hear like cash register sound, and he starts calling people over to try out the sauce. Yeah,
again, living cartoons with that cash register sound. And he's literally like Fitz comes over. What's his name? Fizz. And he just shoves one in his mouth. And he's like, wow, it's really good. Everybody loves it. It's Mr. Bailey comes over. He's like, what's happening? I just hung up with Mother. I was on the phone with Mother. Just like another Mother line. And he tastes it, and he's like, wow, this could save Good Burger. And
yeah. Otis has a good line,
yes.
is, it makes me glad I'm not dead.
Yeah. And you can tell, like, everything changes at Good Burger at this moment, right? Everything shifts.
Yes. Ed hikes up his pants, and Mr. Bailey asks him to, make more sauce in the kitchen, and he says, it shall be done.
That's right. It shall be done. And there's a lot of excitement right here.
Yeah. Ed's sauce is going to save Good Burger. And I think that's where we're going to end part 1.
Okay. Good.
So please join us next week as we get into part 2 of our Good Burger special.
We will see you then. Hold on to your trousers, because it's about to get wild.
All right. Bye, Fantas. Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at kenancalpodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/kenancalpodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Cal Podcast.
What?